your car. It's quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and
Also accepting real estate donations.
Contractor license 1023-790. Kenny, I heard Gettle Air Conditioning has an irresistible offer for everyone out in Radio Land. We do, Zach. We do. Well, tell me about it. Rejuvenation. But the summer's about over. I know. That's why the time is now.
Oh, I
You
forgot.
don't have to explain that. If you have electric heat, your heater is just your air conditioner running backwards all winter. You're saying it needs some refreshment? Yes. And if you have gas heat, now is the time to make sure your AC is in tip-top shape and restored to factory specs so that you can turn it on with confidence when the desert heat returns in a couple of months. Rejuvenation. Rejuvenation. How much? Just $129. That's a great deal. Great deals are what I'm known for, Zach. Really? I thought you was mostly known for having a dog named Sadie. Well, that's it. Gettle. Goettl. Sadie said to say hello, by the way.
With so many protein bar options, how do you choose? Here's a little secret. They keep the fresh ones in the fridge. G2G bars are premium protein bars that taste amazing. Find them in the fridge at Albertsons, Smart and Final Extra, and G2GBar.com.
KFI AM 640 it's combo. And indeed, I now sleep soundly through the night. Plus, I'm losing weight. It's amazing.
I've maybe gotten 4 to 5 hours of sleep max a night. I'm sleeping between 6 and 7. I wake up to use the bathroom, but I go right back to sleep, which has never happened before, which is pretty awesome.
I noticed a higher level of happiness. I also noticed that I wasn't taking naps. I had more energy. I was more in the moment with my kids. Like, we were laughing more. We were more excited. Every single person needs to feel this.
I lost 10 pounds and 5.5 inches off my waist, and I'm so proud of myself. It gives you energy, it helps you sleep better. It just works. I stand by it 100%.
I was on a handful of medications to help me sleep, to help me be happy, tons of therapy. When I'm ready to go to sleep, I'm getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. I've lost some pounds, inches mainly. My family has me back.
Try Accelerate and Elevate, discounted for listeners to the show. Plus, further discounts with the George's Power Pack, including a free gift. Learn more and order now at healthylooking.com. That's healthylooking.com or 800-394-9930. So jump on the path now to all-day energy, better focus, better sleep, and weight loss with Accelerate and Elevate at healthylooking.com. That's healthylooking.com or 800-394-9930.
It's real. Birch Gold delivered gold and silver to my door, and now it's in my hands. I know you have a contingency plan for emergencies, right? You may have a generator, food supplies, a little cash, but what about a contingency for your currency? Inflation is edging near 30-year highs, and with trillions in proposed added government spending, it's looking to go higher. Protect your savings with something not tied to the U.S. dollar. Gold and silver. Birch Gold has it, and they can get it directly to your door. When you text COAST to 989898 and purchase precious metals from Birch Gold by December 23rd, you'll get free silver for every $5,000 you buy. Birch Gold has an A+ rating with the BBB and thousands of happy customers. Text COAST to 989898 for your free, no obligation info kit on diversifying your savings into gold and silver, and to claim your free silver with the purchase by December 23rd. Text COAST to 989898 and protect your savings today.
Want to learn a new language so it will actually stick? Try Babbel. Practice real-life conversations in the Babbel app.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Get personalized help in Babbel's live online classes.
Classes are limited to 6 people, so everyone can get the help they need.
Review words and phrases with fun games, or dive into the culture with short videos. Whatever your learning style, Babbel gives you the tools you need. Babbel, more ways to learn. Now try Babbel free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Fever is the leading symptom of COVID and the flu, and the only way to reliably detect it is with an accurate thermometer. Be vigilant and be accurate with the Exogen Temporal Scanner, whose accuracy has been proven in more than 100 clinical studies. Don't rely on non-contact thermometers. They're proven to be inaccurate and will not reliably detect a fever that might mean COVID. Be sure to seek medical advice at the first sign of fever. Learn more at estrogen.com.
And welcome back to Coast. George Norrie with you. Back in March of 1997, one of the biggest UFO sightings of our current time took place as the Phoenix Lights. I had a chance to talk with Dr. Lynn Kfi on the 20th anniversary of this amazing sighting. 20 years ago today, thousands of people in the Phoenix area witnessed seeing something very unusual in the sky. Late at night, a series of lights in a triangle-type pattern, very unusual. It was known now as the Phoenix Lights. I remember back then, 1997, I was heading up my Nighthawk show in St. Louis, and we heard that story, and we were covering it as well. Not being in Phoenix, little did we know just how widespread it was at the time. It turned out to be an absolutely huge story. As a matter of fact, the governor at the time, Kfi Am, kind of laughed about this, held a news conference, had somebody dress up like an alien, and came by. But he recanted sometime later. As a matter of fact, I was on the Larry King show with him when Kfi Am was there, and he said, you know what? I was wrong. There's something very unusual about that sighting. At the time, Dr. Lynn Kfi, of course, wasn't part of the Phoenix Lights, but she sure was after it got going, and here she is on Coast to Coast. Lynn, you have really done a remarkable job over these 20 years with this story.
It has become a true labor of love, I must say, and I'm so excited to visit with you again, George, and with your Coast to Coast listeners, because there is so much myth and disinformation out there, especially through the last 20 years. That so much has come to light, and I'm so excited to be able to share the true data, because yes, I pushed my entire medical career aside because I had a sighting up close and personal 2 years before the mass sighting. Got 35 millimeter photographs of incredible anomalous aerial phenomena right outside our bedroom window. My husband, who's also a physician, and I both saw the same thing. I got pictures of it, didn't even know who to show it to, show them to, because I had no interest or knowledge in the topic at all, and wondered what this advanced technology was doing right outside our bedroom window in this mountainside in Paradise Valley. And I have a panoramic view of the city skyline from our home. We're pretty high up, and one window of our bedroom, one wall of our bedroom is a window that we know what helicopters and streetlights and car lights and so forth look like, and this was quite different. These were orbs, actually oval orbs in a pyramid formation. I hope we have some time later on to get into that.
Oh, sure.
Because they were analyzed by Navy optical physicist Dr. Bruce McAbee meticulously, and he actually presented the case in 1999 to the MUFON International Symposium in Washington, D.C. His conclusion is very riveting, so I hope we can get to that. But in the meantime, I wondered for 2 years what this advanced technology was, and didn't even know who to show the pictures to until 2 months before the mass sighting. This is really important data, and anybody that's by a computer, I welcome them to go on the Phoenix Lights Network website, thephoenixlights.net, and go to the photo page, because I am the only one with 35 millimeter photographs that before, during, and after the mass sighting that I have gone to extreme lengths to have them explained to me, analyzed, authenticated at university and military levels by optical experts, and across the board, no one could tell me what they are. But in the meantime, I happened to capture the same exact mile-wide phenomena of equidistant lights that I would capture on video during the mass sighting, but this is 2 months before, and this is amazing data, because I caught this thing head-on, turning into a V, and it was at a distance now, and it was so unnerving not having an explanation for 95 that I called around, found air traffic controllers at Sky Harbor International Airport who saw the same thing at the same time, and they were alarmed because they appeared over Class B restricted airspace, about 1,000 feet altitude. They immediately looked on radar, did not show up on radar. They took their binoculars to look, in their own words, and this is poignant because you would hear this over and over again 2 months later by thousands of people. They saw 6 points of light totally equidistant from each other, massive span over a mile wide, that seemed to be attached to something, but they couldn't quite see what it was attached to. And there's a 30-mile radius. Anyone that goes into that radius, especially 5 miles away, as these were, 1,000 feet altitude, they couldn't quite see what it was attached to, or there was a force field holding these orbs, these balls of light, in rock-solid formation. And one of them was a meteorologist and said that the whole thing turned as a unit against the wind. And here I am taking pictures of it while it's happening. Elevated slowly, and then moved in synchrony behind South Mountain.
Very slowly, too.
Very slowly. Right behind South Mountain, which is just south of the airport. So I said, so what was it? And there was silence. And then one of the air traffic controllers said, deep sea. I said, you're air traffic controller. You're supposed to know it's in our airspace. They ruled out every conventional possibility, every aircraft, balloons, lanterns, as well as even skydivers with lights. We kept in contact. I continued photographing this phenomena up until and including March 13th, when thousands of people were looking up at the sky purposely for a glimpse of the half-off planet, when they also caught a glimpse of miles to 2 mile wide and even larger. Peter Davenport from the National UFO Reporting Center said one of the crafts, because this is something that has come out after a 12-year compilation of thousands of reports to the National UFO Reporting Center in Seattle, Washington, Arizona, MUFON, Mutual UFO Network, then former Councilwoman Vice Mayor Frances Farwood, who was the only elected official who innocently asked for an investigation in May, and she was blasted by the media.
Oh, I think that destroyed her political career, didn't it?
It wasn't a pretty picture, anyone that came forward in those days, but, and also Village Labs, which was a computer lab near ASU, Arizona State University, that was kind of a clearinghouse for many of the reports. Anyway, the conclusion was that there were 10 different crafts that people saw. I'm telling you, there is so much information that unless you really look at the data, the general public, or read my book, it's like a skeptic discovery that we're not on. The only one on the west.
Which you've updated, too, by the way. This book is updated now.
Yes, we just came out with the 20th anniversary edition of the book. It's the 3rd edition, 20th anniversary of the Phoenix Lights Beyond Top Secret. And I also, which I have to get to talk about, I've been working on a curriculum for 5 years and wanted to get something out that's really fun and exciting and informative for all ages. And we just came out with the graphic novel and coloring book.
I heard about that.
Yeah, the Phoenix Lights UFOs and Crop Circles, Adventures of Sue Echo, Field Observer, and Hugh, he's little alien, HUGA UFO. In fact, we have such an amazing team, Mark Mankiewicz and David Whitby and Kate Hooker, and also trying to get this together with UFO Studios, Don Gardner, to actually make it interactive. But the book itself is 160 pages. It's just fantastic.
It is. And Lynn, let me ask you, what could be one craft, or could it have been many of those lights? Let's say each light was a craft, or was it connected?
It's a great question. Well, first of all, just so people can picture this in their minds. I mean, here people are seeing these formations of light. Some people just saw formations of light that seemed to be attached to something. Others saw actual crafts go right over their heads at rooftop level. Some people said they could have thrown a rock at it. It was actually
a huge V shape, right?
Well, that's interesting too. And if you look on the GAP page, GATC, Spatial Animation Project, we also have them in the coloring book. There were 10 different crafts, and they're very different. Now, whether it was one craft that could morph into looking differently, or the perspective from where the person was standing, or a parade. And that's the point, because if you really look at the data, there were many things happening. This is why there was, when people say there was one or two events, and it was just for a couple hours, just move forward, because it was over a dozen hours. Not only was it seen for days before by other people, including Steve Wander, who called MUFON up to his balcony, and he happened to catch that night the arrowhead figure. You asked about the shape.
Mm-hmm.
V-shape, there was triangle shape, there was delta shape, there was boomerang shape, and there was even disc shape. And when you look at the data, this is starting at 3 p.m. in the afternoon of the daylight sightings in Arizona, 5 o'clock hour in New Mexico, 7 o'clock hour in California. There's an amazing report that I have in the book of 2 commercial airlines pilots and crew and passengers that were approaching Las Vegas, and one of these mile to 2 mile wide and even bigger, Peter Davenport said one of them was 8 miles wide, okay, covered Las Vegas. And that's a story in itself. But at any rate, there were many things going on, orange formations as well as these crafts throughout the state and beyond for over a dozen hours. Up until 5:30 is the last report that I know of personally, that I was close by at Boeing Crewmen, who were in detail, told me that the crew was coming in to work at Sky Harbor International Airport, and one of these crafts was hovering right over their tarmac. And the other interesting story, besides the fact of technology, which was amazing, these crafts glided. Some of these crafts glided very, very slowly, and then took off at full speed, totally silent, without even dispersing the air.
But all together, right? They came in together, they left together.
No, they were happening at different places at different times.
Really? Like it was splitting up from the triangle?
Yes, in fact, if you look at the pictures on the gap page on the Phoenix Place Network website, one of them actually split in two. And 2 or more people had to see the same event to be able to even go into the study. And one of them split in two and then shot straight up in the air. I had been documenting these things for weeks, and I knew no one that was involved with the topic. In fact, it got to the point where I really wanted to have someone to analyze what I had, especially the close sighting. And this is how close I was. A friend of a friend had a neighbor who had a friend who was the past president of MUFON, Mutual UFO Network. So I gave him a call. I said, I've been seeing these orbs, which he hadn't heard about, but there were other people that were seeing them and documenting them on film as well for days before. And he refers me to a field investigator. We make an appointment for the following week on Wednesday. He calls Tuesday to say that the then state director who wanted to be there, his mom had passed on Saturday. The funeral was Wednesday, could read the phone. And the only window of opportunity that I had for another 2-3 weeks was Friday morning. Meanwhile, I knocked on the door, he opens the door, and he said, did you see the big sighting last night? And I said, I saw something very similar to 2 months ago. In fact, I got video of it. He said, great, because NBC was going to be there in a half an hour to interview him. He said hundreds, not thousands of people saw these orbs that were attached to something and crashed, and it really blew me away. I said, whoa. I used to do health reporting for NBC in Phoenix, actually Philadelphia in '76, and then in Phoenix in the early '80s, and somebody might recognize me, and I didn't know what we were dealing with, if it was a hoax or military or whatever, but it's not about me. It's never been about me, George. It's about the data. And I said, you know what, take a copy of the video, show it to whoever, I'm out of here. And I called the air traffic controllers. They conferred with me that they had seen the same thing over Class B restricted airspace. At 4:30 that next day, I was sitting in front of my television with the VCR on and going from channel to channel, and it must have been comical if anybody was watching it. Every station was showing my video. Okay?
I love that.
It was unbelievable. And by 9 o'clock, a couple other videos came out, the Boomerang video and the Arrowhead video. I was just, I was blown away. Now, I'm learning that thousands of people saw what I had been seeing, and then the following week I find out this is happening worldwide, and that Village Labs is right here in Phoenix, in Tempe, actually, near ASU, with analysis. And again, I ended up not only pushing my career aside for 7 years, I stayed anonymous for 7 years, keeping an integral journal. I ended up in a 750-page journal that ultimately, as a scientist, as an educator, as an experiencer, and even as a physician, George, to let people know that they're not crazy and they're not alone, even though most anomalies can be explained. Only a small percentage cannot. Just because we don't have the technology yet to definitively define what these things are, it doesn't mean they're not real. We may just be looking on the AM dial for an FM frequency. So, all the time, what were they? I don't know what they were, but I know that they are.
Before we go to calls, tell me about the work of Dr. Brewster.
That's a whole story. Well, actually, the close sighting, if I can describe it, the close sighting, because I think many people that are listening may relate to this, that have seen these unexplained phenomena. Again, a little coincidence. It happened the night before my birthday. In '95, I was leisurely taking a bath in the other room. My husband was standing at our big picture window, with one wall above the other was a window. Anything that pops up out there, because we have a panoramic view of the city skyline, we get to see, and planes coming in and out of Sky Harbor and so forth. And he was on several medical state boards, and nothing ever ruffled his feathers. And he was actually talking to my mother-in-law, who called me and wished me a happy birthday from back east. And suddenly he said, "Get over here quick, what the hell is this?" And I grabbed, and that's something very unlike what he would say. And I grabbed my towel and I rushed over to the window, wringing wet. And here we see 3 orbs in a pyramid formation.
Well, I never knew I had Martians in my garden. And I never knew there were aliens on my roof. I got shadow people, and they're living in my basement. Got a funny feeling, Bigfoot's gonna be here soon. I was so blind before, I just don't know when. But now I swear I'm seeing Sasquatch over there. I turned on my radio in the middle of the night, and I heard things I need to know. Now I can see the light. And I also see a ghost. 'Cause I listened to Tokyo. Well, you never knew that your baby was a hybrid. But I knew you'll begin to see the clue. Now you know the signs, 'cause you learned it from George Norrie. Even while you sleep, you've got Martians watching you. I turned on my radio in the middle of the night, and I heard things I need to know. And I can see the light, and I also see a ghost. But I'm listening to Coast to Coast. Good morning or good evening, wherever you may be, whichever world you're living in, whatever century.
For Dan Galante, Tom Dan Heiser, Jeremiah Harris, Lisa Lyon, Lex Londred, Sean Monticello, Stephanie Smith, Chris Charles, Simbadal, George Knapp, and Ian Punnett. I'm George Miller, somewhere out there on Coast to Coast AM. We'll see you on our next edition. Until then, be safe, everyone.
We know that people are experts at lots of things. Doctors are experts at medicine. Chefs are experts at cooking. And moms, well, they're experts at everything.
Right, Dan, but there's one thing practically nobody's an expert in. How to shop for the right mattress. Because at City Sleep, we know shopping for a mattress isn't something to do every day, or even every 8 years.
That's why inside every Sit and Sleep, you'll find highly trained mattress experts with an average of 10 years experience who know everything about mattresses if you don't.
Then we go one step further by giving our mattress experts FedMatch technology that scientifically analyzes your body's unique support needs and recommends just the right mattress for you. It's a winning combination that's helped millions of Southern Californians get the deep, restful sleep that's so critical to helping you feel your best every day. So for expert advice about your next mattress, trust your sleep to Sit and Sleep.
I'm an expert at other things besides mattresses.
Like what, Dad?
Screaming free!
Portions of the following program will be recorded. Good morning, my early rising friends. I am Dean Sharp, the House Whisperer, custom home builder, custom home designer. It is just about 6 o'clock. That means for the next 2 hours, I'm going to be here with you as a friendly voice in your Saturday morning and your personal guide, turning your ordinary house into something extraordinary. We're doing all calls today. You're in charge of the show. So now is the time to jump into the queue. The number to reach me at 833-2-ASK-DEAN. 833, the number 2. Ask Dean. Let's talk about what's going on with your home today. It all gets started in just a couple of minutes, so stay tuned and welcome home. This is KFI and KOST HD2 Los Angeles, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
KFI AM 640. KFI live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. It's hard to keep track of everything that's going on. Luckily, that's a little hobby of ours.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Free her baby one more time. I'm Brian Bruman, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. Britney Spears supporters are celebrating the end of the singer's conservatorship that's been in place for almost 14 years. People cheered in the streets outside the courthouse where a judge ended the arrangement. This woman says she thinks the end of Spears' conservatorship will have a ripple effect on other cases.
I think that what it's going to do is that it's going to shed light on this issue, and it's going to make people stand up and say, now that we know what's going on, you can't unknow these things. And if you don't do something, and if you don't stand up for what's right, then you become complicit in it.
The judge's move yesterday was widely expected, as there wasn't much support left for keeping the conservatorship. Blake Trolley, KFI News. News brought to you by Rooter Hero. Rapper Travis Scott is facing lawsuits from around 200 people who attended the Astroworld Music Festival, where at least 9 people were killed. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump is representing the group, and he says festival goers were hurt physically and mentally.
We will make sure that they get justice, because this should have never, ever happened.
Hundreds of people were hurt when the crowd at Scott's show in Houston last Friday surged towards the stage. Scott has apologized, and he says he wasn't told about the deaths and injuries until the next day. California is one of 4 states recommending COVID-19 vaccine booster shots for any adult who wants one. ABC's Stephanie Ramos says health experts are saying the boosters will help keep the COVID surge during the winter months from getting out of control.
That winter surge just beginning. Hospitals from Colorado to Vermont scrambling to care for more COVID patients. Many hospitals seeing more vaccinated patients, like older people and the immunocompromised.
Colorado, New Mexico, and West Virginia are also recommending adults 18 and older to get the booster shot. The CDC is expected to announce updated booster shot guidance soon. Residents of Riverside County can dump hazardous waste for free today. Paint, pesticides, motor oil, and fluorescent light bulbs are among the items that can be dropped off at the collection event from 9 to 2 at the Oasis landfill on 84th Avenue. All county residents can participate, but it's only for household waste, not businesses.
Both in the
Local
left
gallons
and the
or
other
125
inside
pounds per vehicle. The area city council is taking steps to keep Zillow, Redfin, and other large tech companies and private equity firms from buying affordable homes as investments. During the council meeting's public comments yesterday, this guy told the council that it's important to put limits on these companies.
Say 2 single-family homes by any person or entity. Otherwise, what's going to happen is these companies will just break up into little shell companies, and they'll circumvent what you're trying to do.
The council says it will work with its legal team to come up with strategies to deal with the problem. And someone's a long way from home.
It's a penguin nicknamed Tango by the locals in
Tango.
The penguin was found underweight and dehydrated walking along a beach recently, almost 1,800 miles away from its home in Antarctica. Little Pingu was given fluids and fish smoothies and was given a clean bill of health before being released back into the wild. This is just the 3rd time this type of penguin has been found in New Zealand. The only other live one was found almost 30 years ago. Amy King, KFI News.
People around the globe are lending a hand and sharing a smile in honor of World Kindness Day. The holiday is recognized today and encourages people to go out of their way to be nice. Something I need to keep in mind. Some ways to celebrate are to volunteer, donate to a charity, compliment strangers, and do random acts of kindness. World Kindness Day has been celebrated since 1998. And we are looking at a crash on the 105.
105 before the 7 country race. Back in the carpool lane, it's actually back to 4 Long Beach Boulevard. Been working on a crash in Burbank as well on the southbound side of the 5 before San Fernando Boulevard. It wasn't even a quickly much. Definitely got off to the right shoulder. Watch this money flowing remaining from Buena Vista. And still have this long-term retreat activity in San Pedro. The Vision College Bridge shut down both directions for nearly 24 hours now. Take Anaheim Street or Pacific Coast Highway instead. KFI in the car.
When it comes to your identity and keeping it safe, the folks at LifeLock want to make sure that your information stays secure. So let's say during the pandemic, even now, you're working overtime, you're saving your money, you're paying off your debt, and now some identity thief wants to steal your information. This is why LifeLock by Norton helps monitor your information and alert you to potential identity threats. And if you do become a victim, a dedicated U.S.-based specialist will be there to help. Now, no one can prevent all identity theft, monitor every transaction. But when identity thieves try to take what's yours, you don't have to take it lying down because there's LifeLock. Save up to 25% off your first year. Call 800-LifeLock or go to lifelock.com, promo code handle. That's lifelock.com, promo code handle, or call 800-LifeLock, promo code handle. Once again, that's promo code handle for 25% off at lifelock.com.
Southbound weather from KFI. Sunny and hot today. Some light to medium winds across SoCal. Mid-70s below 80s at the beaches. Mid-80s below 90s in Metro LA and OC. Mid-80s below 90s in the Inland Valley. And mid-80s below 90s in the Inland Empire. Clear skies tonight. Cooling down a little tomorrow. Some partly cloudy skies. Right now it's 64 degrees. We read local. Live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Brian Bruno.
It's Eric. Welcome. You're advertisers. Tangled. Serious Drive Perfections in the 2011